Hello and welcome to the second milestone of Team Rock Bottom. Uh, for this milestone, we are using March 10th, 2021, the timestamp of 9:02 p.m. for our Excel sheet. First of all is the controls menu. As a new user, I would like to know all the controls in the game to help me enjoy the game. Add a controls menu in the main menu and the pause menu. Returning from this menu brings you back to the same menu that brought us to the control menu. Controls should list all valid inputs a user can do in the game. The controls menu showcases picture example of what each button does. Add a back button to leave the menu. Excuse me. Equipment. As a player, I want to be able to equip myself with various types of equipment to enhance the stats of my character in order to do better in battle. It has its own designated UI. You cannot equip multiple of the same types of equipment. Equipment will affect player by a multiple. Will have a visual effect on the player sprite. There will be an armor slot for equipment and a weapon slot. The player will be able to equip it in the designated equipment menu under the player menu. Okay. Health item fixes. As a player, I want to use the health item to regain any of my lost health. Make sure the player gains health after using the item. Item should disappear once used. The preset battle roster. As a player, I want to fight a preset enemy group to maximize tactical advantage. Unique visual sprites in the scene for the player to identify. Set different amount of enemies. Sound effect to give the player feedback that they've started the battle. Mana potion. As a player, I want to be able to use a mana potion item on myself to restore my character's lost mana points. Will give the player a small amount of mana when used. The mana potion will disappear when it's used completely. A sound effect to give feedback that the mana potion is being used. Same with the visual effect. A mana potion item will only be allowed to use in battle, and the mana potion can be used twice before being used completely. Audio slider fixes. As a player, I want to be able to modify the game's volume so I can have a better experience playing. Sliders should not mute the audio when the slider is halfway through. Sound effect when the sound effects are modified, and volume must match throughout the game. Finishing the credit menu. There we go. There we go. As a player, I want to have a credit screen that showcases all the references and name of the game's developers. It showcases all the team members' names, it showcases all the references used to create the game, and a back button to return to the menu, and background music different from the main menu. Main menu fixes. As a player, I want to have the game start in the main menu, and I want to clean up the UI in order to have a smoother experience starting the game. To not have the build open with the credits menu first. Increase button size so it is easier to click the correct one. Add a sound effect to presenting the buttons. Lower the original background music volume just a tad. Button fixes. As a player, I want to make an invalid button in order to understand when a button should not do anything. Add an invalid button to the scene. As a player, I want to be able to showcase what a player should do and shouldn't be able to do in order to understand the gameplay better. Being able to showcase the speed of the game, being able to showcase the speed of the player in game. Adhering to the metrics shown, moving the battle button to the metrics, and applying the camera system. Player fixes. As a player, I want to have my character to be able to collide with other objects in the world in order to know where I can and cannot go in a level. Lounger sound effect for walking, collidable object that to have the player not walk through. Chest fixes. As a player, I want to display the items that will be inside the chest and fix any errors linked with the chest in order to see what items I have found in the game. Make sure the sound effect is working, fix the null references that were appearing with the chest, and show the equipment inside the chest. Camera fixes. As a player, I want the camera to follow me when I move rooms in order to see what is in the level. Camera will stay in a fixed position. When the player moves out of a room, the camera will move to a new fixed position. Game loop. As a player, I want to be able to be working with no errors in order to have a smooth playthrough of the game. Make sure the build opens up in the main menu and not the credits scene menu. No errors will be shown in the build except for the ones that come from the update time script. As a player, I want to be shown how much experience I gain from the enemies in order to keep track of my character's progress. That will be fulfilled by showing how much XP is granted to the player once the enemies are defeated. Fire and water skill fixes. As a player, I want the visual and sound effects feedback to work to make sure that I know when skills are casted. Make sure animations are working when skills are being used so the player can see the ability what's used. Re-add correct sound effects to give audio feedback that the skill was used. As a player, I want to know if I have won or lost the fight in order to determine my next move in the game. Proper win screen appears after winning, different music that plays in the battle scene, present player XP. Heal skill fix. As a player, I want to see and hear feedback in order to know when a skill is used. Adding visual and audio feedback. As a player, I want to be able to go against a different stat-styled enemy in order to test my character's capabilities. Make sure the enemy has all the stat types of the other enemies, a new visual sprite to differentiate it, and the enemy does less damage than the other enemies but has more health and defense stats. From the depot. Start with main menu fixes, since we're on the main menu. There we go. I would use that if it was more seeable. Main menu. There you go. As a player, I want to start the game in the main menu and clean up the UI in order to have a smoother experience starting the game. Obviously doesn't end up with the credits menu, increased button size, sound effect for pressing the buttons, and lowers the original music a tad. I believe the game loop also requires that the main menu not open on the credits menu. Control menu, visual, returns you back to the menu. Sliders. Sound effect is not muted halfway. Let's see, what else? Visual, all the brings you back. Okay. Audio slider fixes. We'll see that the volume matches throughout the game. Credit scene. Here we go. All our names. All the references we used. Oh, I should let the different music play. Kinda quiet. Alrighty. Next, let's go to the metrics level fixes. Settings, controls. Okay. Resume. So you can now see the speed, player stats, and you can see what happens when XP is gained. There is fence. Oh, and for the player, the sound effects is louder. The chest, you can open it, see what's inside, and then you can go for the equipment, to the equipment menu, and equip it. Yeah. Tab. You can see the camera system is now in place for the metrics level as well. Let's see. Select player by a multiple. Okay. It's not reflected here, sadly. But it does it. Skills menu, checkpoints, health item, preset battle roster. Menu. Player fixes. Chest fixes. Camera fixes. I can go to the next level to show you that. Just like that. Takes a second to change scenes. Oh, tab. Right, next is the preset battle roster. As a player, I want to fight a preset enemy group to maximize my tactical advantage. Unique sprite, different amount of enemies, and a sound effect once the battle starts. Sound effect. These are the enemies for this battle. You can go up. I meant to flee. Oh, you can still go to battle too. Different enemies. This are the EXP for each. Let's see. Now that we're in the battle scene, I will show you the skill fixes next. That's the fire. Does a bit of damage. Use the mana potion to heal up. Target with the water skill. Defeat an enemy. Next we can do a heal skill. Let's see. Tank enemy. Nope. Well, next would be the win-loss screen. And then I'll show the tank enemy in more detail. Well, that's different. It takes a second for the proper. It takes a second for the lose screen to appear. Alright, the battle scene. Or the turtle enemy. As you can see, the magic skills do little to no effect to it. This will obviously be a bit of a longer battle to get through. Healing potion. Effect. Heals, and it goes away. Mana potion goes away after its second use. Let's try Battle 2 again, see if we can't win that one. That's what happens when you use an invalid skill, or an invalid button. There we go. Alright, and that is the second presentation of Team Rock Bottom's Milestone 1. Milestone 2. Milestone 2, not 1.